Hey, and we are back, and we're wearing the same clothing from the podcast. Why?
Although I think this is coming out before. Let's restart.
Okay.
This one's coming out before. Okay,
Right.
ready? And
Hi, welcome to the second episode of Movie Court. My name is Josh, this is Lucas, this is Skylar, and today we are discussing Spider-Man Homecoming and War for Planet of the Apes.
very excited.
Yes, alright.
I
So,
think that's the best intro we've ever
done.
had.
Ever.
So let's get right into it! Yes!
alright.
Wow.
You're gonna blow their ears out.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for headphone users.
You're gonna have to edit that one, buddy.
That's-
Good job.
We're not editing this. This is an unedited video.
Jesus. But,
Alright.
So we're a little late on Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
We're
Yeah,
on
very late.
time.
We're
We're
very
on
late.
time with War of the Planet of the Apes, except I haven't seen it.
So he's gonna leave.
So I'll leave.
we're gonna
But
start with
we're gonna start with
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I have a couple things actually.
Well, wait.
written
Before
for
we should
it.
say that you've seen it twice, right?
I've seen it twice.
We've only seen it once each. I'm seeing it again on Saturday. But so you're a little more fresh on it than
Yeah.
we are. So maybe we should let him start because.
All right.
Oh, I was just saying I have stuff written
Oh,
for
okay.
it.
Can I just say something really quick?
Yeah.
So I don't think we're gonna go into much detail about this.
No, just general talk.
So if you want to check out some serious deep stuff,
Yeah.
we already have a video. What's going on with Spider-Man: Homecoming?
Josh did
it's-
that one.
I did that one. Lucas edited it. It's very
Yeah.
different from what we already have out.
It's not a review show. It's
more of a question as to what's going on. So like I'll just give like a little brief something. The people said or the people that made Spider-Man: Homecoming said they wanted to modernize Flash Thompson more, and this was a smartsy school, so he couldn't be a big and tough jock. Yet they had a cheerleading team and a football field.
What's going on?
What's going on, guys? Check out that video. It should be down there.
We'll be doing more of those and stuff. With War of the Planet of the Apes, so I can't really talk about it, but might do my own video talking about it.
like even a review on Twitter or Instagram.
But so that wouldn't be what's going on won't be reviews. Reviews
it's just
will
questions.
be their own
Yeah.
thing.
Reviews
like
will
on
be
this
their own.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's more of a. And also, what we want to do with what's going on is talk about films beyond there, just brand new, like older films too.
Yeah.
If you notice something.
Like
Yeah.
what's going on with The Room?
Jesus.
We're gonna abuse The Room.
We
We're
have
gonna watch that. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. All right.
between what's going on, movie court, the podcast, and everything else in between. We have so much, and
much going on.
we really hope you guys enjoy it
Getting
because
it over our heads.
we really we love doing it.
It's great.
You know what?
I just wanted to put that out.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say that.
It feels like work, but really on the inside, we're doing this because we want to do this,
And it's fun.
and it's fun.
It's fun. So let's get into it.
Let's
Let's get right into Spider-Man Homecoming.
All right. So coming in for the second time. It's a good movie. There are some very, 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 very slow parts, and the movie doesn't feel like it's actually going until Tony Stark pushes it. But
I see what you-
I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I found it fun. It wasn't like any of the Spider-Man movies we've gotten before.
No, oh yeah. Wait.
And I feel Tom Holland, in a sense, as I said in the what's going on, he is Peter Parker, and in a sense, his Spider-Man is kind of the best Spider-Man.
Like he's like it's like he's not playing it. He's just
he is. Yeah. So I mean, it suits Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Like the suit suits Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So if you guys got anything,
Well, what's your arbitrary rating?
My arbitrary rating was I gave it a B plus.
Well, wait. So we're talking about when we first saw the movie coming out of the
I gave it a.
You gave it a C plus when we were coming out of the theater the first time.
Wait, no, didn't you give it a C minus?
No,
I gave it a C plus. I gave it a C plus.
What happened?
I might give it a B, not a B plus.
B.
Yeah, again, it's.
I'm so surprised.
Because he never gives movies that low, and he gave it a C plus, and I think you might have been tired or something.
No, well, I mean, we did see like a 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we didn't get out till like 1 a.m.
I the second time I was looking more for enjoyment than I was, I mean, again, I go in to see movies for the fact of enjoying it,
But what changed? Like what did you see that was better?
I talk about it kind of in
What's Going On?
What's going on? Okay.
Yeah, it's more of what they're going to do with the sequel, and the fact that I was able to see a little something that they could do with the sequel opened my eyes up to the entire movie in general, as to what they could do more. And the first time I saw Spider-Man: Homecoming, I thought Vulture was an awful villain.
What?
I didn't like. Michael Keaton is amazing, and I love his acting.
him.
I didn't think Vulture was strong enough because he's such a strong character that's in like the Sinister Six and such. Mm-hmm. And then you know like in this
you
it was
thought
just,
they just didn't do well, but yeah.
In the same sense, I never thought any of the Spider-Man movies had a really strong
Doc Ock.
Don't. I'm sorry for those of you guys. I've never really been that big of a fan of Spider-Man movies.
Spider-Man 2.
My favorite was Amazing Spider-Man, the first one.
What?
And I hated Spider-Man 2.
You hate Spider-Man 2?
Sorry.
Wait. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 2 from 2004?
Spider-Man 2, 2004.
Oh my god, Josh, it's such a good movie.
It's the best of the trilogy, no doubt, but I didn't like it.
I'm gonna cry.
I didn't like it.
It's okay.
Okay, so
yeah,
good.
but now the Vulture, I rewatching the movie, he's actually really great.
So would you say it's your favorite Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Cool.
And again, like I'm not a big fan of the Spider. I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man in general, but I feel like he hasn't been done right,
Except till now.
and until now.
Okay.
So yeah.
So now.
So
B, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I have a couple things to say. Just because I haven't really had a chance to talk about this movie yet. So I have a list.
Oh!
No, it's obviously simplifies.
That's a 15, 16 minute long video.
No. So I was gonna write out a whole pros and cons thing, but I didn't get around to doing the cons side of it. So I have to remember what I didn't like.
Okay.
But my pros are that it felt like a high school. It felt like a high school movie.
It really felt real.
So for that, I mean, he does explain how he's like 16 or
15.
15. Does he look 15?
I think so.
Kinda. But he definitely acts 15.
Yeah.
And the movie feels like a high school. The high school feels like a high school.
Well,
there's bullies. There's classes that you would normally take.
And there's none of those cliques. There's no cliques.
Yeah,
like
there's not, and
homogenized.
there's really not like a thing that, I mean, to me, there wasn't a point where it like hit you over the head that it's a high school. They weren't like, oh, he's in high school, look at it, he's in high school.
Any Spider-Man movie has done that though.
No, but
No.
with this one, I feel it's like the first time that they really like it didn't just feel like a setting, like now he's in school and this happens.
Yeah.
Like there was
It was
actually
a part of him.
It was a part of
The school
story.
was very alive in the film.
Yeah. It was good.
And I kind of want to say something when you said like Tom Holland and his age in the film and if he looks like it. One of the things that this movie did was it paired people over the age of 20 as high schoolers.
28 for the main love interest.
Yeah, with
She's 28.
28. Yeah.
but they paired them with actual kids, which in a sense kind of made it look.
It looked better.
Not to me.
I thought it looked better.
I thought they paired like 28-year-old with like a 15-year-old, like an actual 15-year-old. So it made Tom Holland look in the middle, but everybody else either looked super young or super old.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no in between. It was
Right.
Tom Holland was the in between, and everybody else was either
Got it.
like kindergarten or were the ones giving birth to the kindergartners.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah.
Okay.
I also just really loved how New York was just like kind of the best it's looked in a Spider-Man movie.
Oh well, I mean, if you mean clean,
no. Just like
it's very much.
It's real. I mean, like the Queens looked good.
Spider-Man 2.
Down to like the sandwich shop.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold up. In Spider-Man 2, when he spoilers, everybody's seen it. When he takes off, when the mask comes off, and it's they take it off in the train. Do you really think everybody that was in that train would keep that secret?
Yes.
Bullshit.
It was post 9/11, man. They would keep the secret. They love Spider-Man.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
Keep going.
So I was just gonna say, there was a lot of petty crime. I mean, like people were like stealing bikes, and that felt New York. The sandwich shop, felt New York.
People lost in New York.
Stanley's cameo
So
felt
great.
super
So
New
good.
York.
Hey, Gary.
So like Yeah, New York. It felt good.
Okay.
I thought the acting was great. I mean, Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland, and Keaton were incredible, and they all worked on screen with each other so well. I mean, like Holland and Keaton worked amazingly together, just on screen. That was amazing. Robert Downey Jr. And Holland were great. I mean, Happy Hogan is always a favorite. You know, so just like the acting was great. Even down to Ned Leeds, you know, this was like his first movie to my knowledge, and he was awesome. You know, like
really good job.
He did a good job, and the girl plays Liz. The acting is good. That's all I have to say.
Except for Zendaya.
I thought Zendaya was fine.
I'll talk. You finish.
Also, my favorite parts of the movie were Donald Glover and Hannibal Buress. Buress? It's Buress.
I thought it was Burris.
It's Buress.
Hannibal Buress. I thought it was
Sarah Bareilles.
So they were great, and I guess the last thing I have for a pro was the story was good. I like the story, and maybe my cons are at some points it did seem very slow.
Very slow.
And there were a couple points where I was like, especially sitting in the theater at like 12 o'clock, I was like, oh wait, is something happening? You know, like there's a couple points where I'm just like, get on with it, you know.
Right.
But then again, that's not always bad. But I'm just gonna wrap this up and say my arbitrary letter grade is a B.
Okay. So I think first off, it's definitely second best Spider-Man movie ever made. Because Spider-Man 2 is one of my favorite movies. Not as a Spider-Man
but
movie.
let's just also say you also said your second. You what? Snow Globe Down.
Okay, wait. So
you also said your second favorite movie of all time was Monsters Inc.
So let's just go on. So Tom Holland, I think, is the best Spider-Man we've had. Definitely, he works really well with just because not only does it it's not only that he's great with the quips and jokes, but also he still feels 15. It's not like, oh, now because he's Spider-Man he acts more adult and stuff. He's still acting like a kid, which is what I felt was bad about the Amazing Spider-Man, where it's like when he was Spider-Man he wasn't. He was acting like an adult almost, and like it didn't. Well, and that was the whole movie. Like it didn't feel like a teenager.
He was an independent teenager.
Yeah, but
which in a sense was more adult, and it didn't work in the movie's favor.
Yeah,
but he did play in a sense what he was going for.
Yeah, but I just felt this was I liked the way they did it here, and also because I had said before like, oh man, I don't like that we're going back to high school. Like I liked Spider-Man better when he's an adult. But what I loved about what they did with Spider-Man this time is that not only did they make him feel young, but like they made him feel like he would make dumb mistakes, and it's because he's 15. So like to try and impress Tony Stark and stuff, he's gonna go and try and catch these guys, and he gets trapped in that the big building because he screwed up. He makes stupid mistakes, and then Downey Jr. kind of playing the father figure. Punishes him for it. And it feels real. Like, that's what would happen,
I mean, he even said, though, too, in the movie, when we were talking father figure, he said, oh, I sound like my father.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was very forced into that.
My favorite, probably one of my favorite moments of the movie is just when Peter, the Vulture just collapsed the building on top of him. He's stuck there, and he's freaking out. And he just breaks down and says, like, help me, like, I'm stuck.
Well, out of comic books, too, that's right out of the final Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like
so, he's not the final Spider-Man.
He's no longer a superhero. He's just a kid. You really realize like this is a kid. Like he might die. Like he's freaking out. And then just that triumphant thing of like telling himself he's Spider-Man, pushing himself up. That's the perfect Spider-Man. Just like overcoming yourself. He's a kid, but he's at that moment he proved that he's stronger than that, and like he can do it. That was great. So him as Spider-Man was awesome. Him with Ned, I love the way that the two of them work together, and I'm glad they didn't do Harry. I'm glad they made it a new character, which is also interesting. Is like a lot of the Spider-Man stuff that's like almost like sacred is totally not in it. Like Uncle Ben's whole thing, not in it.
Yeah,
Spidey sense.
Not a.
Well, that's gonna be an Avengers Infinity.
Yeah.
Not a single Spidey sense. no mention of Osborn or Oscorp or anything, which is like great.
Which we also talked
been,
about in
What's Going On. Did you even see that? Did you even watch?
Yeah, I'm offended.
So listen, what I'm saying is that it's so great that we've had so many movies that have focused on these things, and now we get a just kind of a clean slate where it's just you take the bare bones essence of the character and just put him in a new world. So you just take Spider-Man and put him somewhere else. You don't need to worry about all this other stuff going on. That was great. My only problems come really with just some technical choices, like story-wise. I thought it's one of the strongest Marvel movies, just because it does what also Spider-Man 2 did great, where it's focusing on the character rather than the plot.
Because that's what Marvel's always aimed to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, but then sometimes they kind of loses it a bit with some of their movies, and those are the ones that are weaker. But, like, what's great is, the movie's plot is very small. It's a small thing, and it keeps it very small. It's not, like, world ending or whatever.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a portal from the sky.
Exactly. It gives us time to... It's more about Spider-Man, and, the Vulture's there, and he's really a small part, but also that's what makes it great, because they're not getting over,
and what was good was also, they got his storyline out of the way really fast.
Oh yeah, it was the beginning, and it was one of the best character motivations ever.
Did you notice, though, how this makes this movie made the timeline more messed up than X-Men?
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
The movie doesn't say, 8 months later or anything, it says 8 years later. The events of Avengers took place in 2012.
Didn't say 8 years, did
yes,
it?
It said 8 years. I saw it twice just to confirm.
8 years later?
So this movie takes place in 2020.
No, it would take place in Shit, it takes place in 2020. That makes... Okay, they messed up
big!
Jeez. Okay, but anyway, I got Michael Keaton...
No effects. That means this is after Avengers Infinity War.
But Michael Keaton is the best Marvel villain, I think.
You're right. Oh
yeah,
I agree.
I think he's definitely the best Marvel villain. Just with character motivation, with just portrayal. One of my favorite things is that he shoots the guy with the gun and he didn't intend to kill him. He's like, oh, I thought this was the stun gun or something.
The gravity
defying gun. And then so that's funny because he's not intentionally killing people, but he's still not remorseful about it, which is interesting. Also, the twist I really didn't see coming, which is great.
I loved it.
That was such a
having him be Liz's father.
And it wasn't just a twist.
I was just about to say, are we
reason.
revealing that without saying spoilers?
It wasn't just a twist for no reason. They made it work. They made it work. We already said spoilers before.
Yeah,
language.
Sorry.
I said spoilers.
But yeah, so my main problems come technical things like Zendaya. I just did not.
Why?
Dig.
The why though?
I felt she was just too forced.
The Washington Monument. My friends are in there. Okay.
I just felt she was forced, and especially spoilers again at the end. My friends call me MJ. We don't need those things. We don't need her to be MJ, and I hate. I don't
think you got that though. They even said it wasn't there, so she'll be Mary Jane, and I fought so many people over this. She's not Mary Jane.
She said, okay, no, but she still said
that was a
MJ.
homage. That was a homage to MJ.
No, they said MJ because she's gonna be Mary Jane.
No, she's not Mary Jane. She's
why would
Michelle.
they say it? Why would they? Okay,
because it's a homage.
But she's still gonna be the character. She's gonna be the Mary
love
Jane.
interest.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I didn't like her as a character. Why does he need a love interest? I don't see we need it right now. But also,
no, that's why we didn't get it right.
The other thing that ruined the movie, it's a 0 out of 10 because Gwyneth Paltrow.
You know what? You know what? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say it.
We didn't need it.
They didn't like it. They didn't. You guys didn't need it. But in a sense, they left her totally out in the open, and that kind of would have been an awful way to leave it.
It worked for Civil War when she's gone and Tony Stark had nothing. And now what I thought it was gonna be is that after Civil War, what brought him back and made him, almost care again is Spider-Man. This kid. He had nothing, right?
Well, that's what that was. Nobody. He was the father figure to this kid.
But now Gwen Paltrow's back, so that whole idea of he had nothing means nothing. Because
that's a great point.
I would have rather not have Gwyneth Paltrow.
But you know what we did get with Gwyneth Paltrow, which was at the very end and nothing special except for them saying they'll engage. Mm-hmm. It was clever. And it was cute. And you know what? It left something.
We're running low on time, so I just want to get just really quick up. Also, I thought that some of the musical choices wasn't great. Using Lipstick Blop. I think that's what they used, right? Yeah.
It was the award for the award for most overused soundtrack. Yeah. It goes to Spider-Man Homecoming.
I felt it was a really fun, I felt there were some story problems, just like, you know, like with the pacing and stuff. Acting was great.
Arbitrary letter grade.
Yeah. Arbitrary, I'd say I give it a solid B.
All right, now get out.
Yeah, now get out. We're gonna do
Triple
War
B.
for the Planet of the
We're
Apes.
doing triple.
So we got triple
You can
Bs.
start with this. With this
No, we're going right. No.
We're
You
going
gotta-
right into-
we have
right
to
into
go
Talk
right
about your
into
Matt
it.
Reeves thing.
We have to go right into spoilers.
Fine.
All right,
I'm
do you
gonna
want to
ta-
scooch over so
Yep.
I can. All right.
I'm one cheek on and one cheek off on both chairs, but I'm good. Bye. Make sure my dog doesn't bark.
I wanted to. Okay. I wanted to share the chair. I didn't know you were gonna go butt cheek, butt cheek.
Oh, okay. Wait. Why wouldn't you just sit in that same chair?
'Cause it wasn't as comfortable as you said it was. All right.
Ah! War for the Planet of the Apes.
Oh my god.
Incredible
All right.
movie.
All right. You know what? I'm just gonna move this entirely. All right. So this
Watch
film
this
is
movie.
okay. This film is absolutely phenomenal. It's
gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, and it definitely shows me that Matt Reeves, he's good. He's for Batman.
He's
we're
good.
Fine. We're fine. No, I mean
That is the most
I mean,
understated
I meant to say we're
adjective.
good. I meant to say we're good. We're in good hands.
He's great.
So, I mean, I honestly, my arbitrary letter grade for this film was an A+.
Mine is somewhere on a teeter-totter between an A and an A+.
All right. Now, why?
Why? Because it is
Spoilers.
Yeah, this is going to be spoilers.
sorry.
I mean, like,
Right,
right
spoilers.
now, this is not a spoiler, but it is a long 2-hour, 15-minute movie. 2-hour, 20-minute movie.
Really slow. Really slow.
It's slow, but that's also the novelty of it is that, like, there isn't a lot of dialogue. There's not a lot of dialogue
No, okay,
between
well,
characters.
there is dialogue, but
No,
it's
yeah,
through
but it's-
sign language. So
and a lot of it is heavily dependent on what the apes, like,
Yeah.
facial expression.
the majority of the film was shot really close up on their faces,
Which
while
is
they talk.
amazing, which is also just a great stylistic thing for Matt Reeves to do. A lot of shots that I thought were the strongest were when you have Nova's face close up, and,
or like Caesar when he sees the death of his family,
or you have Caesar's face, and like you can cut a line in the middle of that, and it's perfectly symmetrical. I mean, like Matt Reeves killed it with a lot of his shots. I mean, and even in the first 20 minutes, I mean, when the emotion when Caesar sees his
wife and child,
child right after his child got back, made me cry. I cried within the first 20
and you haven't even
minutes.
seen Dawn.
I have not. I have not seen.
He
Dawn,
never actually
but-
met his son, the kid's son, or
But I
Caesar's
did.
son.
I did. I know this is gonna sound like terrible. Like I'm definitely gonna go back and watch Dawn. But before I saw this movie with my father, which also made it more tender, like being next to my dad.
Let's move this in the middle.
We read a synopsis, so I knew what had happened. I knew.
And the movie starts with a prologue, and it tells you what happened in Rise of Planet of the Apes,
which is great.
And they
I
even
love
use the
that.
term rise, and then it like the words would fade and just rise would stay, and then they would go on to the next portion with more text, and then they would have dawn in bold, and then the rest of the text would fade except for dawn that would stay.
Yeah, I thought
And
that
then
was
more,
awesome.
And then oh my god, it was amazing.
I mean, just like again, like Maurice was amazing. I mean, like, it's like all of the apes you just feel such a connection to, and it's just amazing.
His ride or die homies had such a history too. So like if you watched any of the original stuff, I don't know if you knew this, but Rocket was like the alpha ape in the sanctuary that Caesar was placed in after he bit the guy
Right.
in Rise of Planet of the Apes. And Caesar beat the shit out of him.
And, they
And
were like,
Rocket was begging for forgiveness. And throughout all of Rise of Planet of the Apes, it was Rocket who was like the bad guy. And then at the end, it became a turn to humans. And it was just, that was phenomenal to see the development go from Rocket being the bad guy to then Koba taking over in Dawn of Planet of the Apes and forcing,
Rocket to be his right hand man.
No, forcing Caesar to fall down this path.
Well, yeah.
Forcing the apes to go into war, and then the constant development of Rocket going from that to then Koba to now it's just entirely humans, and Rocket is the one who is the ride or die homie to Caesar. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like begging for forgiveness, oh please for approval. It's we are like brothers.
Yeah.
Now. And also like again with Maurice, his character was always the wise one. He was the smart one. And he said it straight out. He was like, oh, you're doing this for Caesar's doing this for revenge. He's going after the one single human, the colonel, for revenge for his family, for killing his family. And it is very gripping when you see the turn from all of these characters, because we've had 3 movies, and I've never seen a trilogy so focused on characters. Like, we talk Marvel does characters. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't care. Screw Captain America going from scrawny and innocent to, now I feel like everything's a lie, to I'm devastated, my life is entirely a lie, now I'm giving up for it. I'm giving it up. This movie, this trilogy, shows how perfect the development needs to be, from the innocent to the confused to the scared to the angry
to the victorious
to back to nothing at all.
Exactly.
And then back to the victorious. So it's
this movie, I want to just sum it up with something that Matt Reeves said, because I was fortunate enough
Tell us a little bit about that.
to go and see the movie with a post-screening guest, Matt Reeves, and the CGI, the head of CGI for the movie, who he came out, and it was Matt Reeves and Joe something or other, and Matt Reeves was saying, the interviewer said like something. He was like, so after working with Andy Serkis for the last 2 movies, like, how great of, like, would you say that he's the greatest CGI actor of all time? And Matt Reeves goes, the term greatest CGI actor is a boneless classification. He goes, it means nothing. Andy Serkis is the greatest actor on the planet. And, like, to me, everybody started clapping.
That is amazing.
Everybody was like, yes. Because it's true. Like, if anything, Andy Serkis is doing 10 times more than any actor.
Because of the CGI is able to just get him out there.
He's playing an animal or a mythical creature.
Or the head of the bad guys, like
exactly.
What's his name? Emperor Snoke.
Yeah.
Supreme Leader Snoke. Like, he's this huge, humongous, damaged villain. And while we don't see him that much in Star Wars The Force Awakens, you can see the anger in him and in his voice. And then you come over to, but not even just that, starting from Gollum.
Exactly.
He freaking, like, Gollum alone should have won him an Oscar.
And Matt Reeves just goes, I don't think Andy Serkis will ever get the credit he deserves. But to me,
because he's always behind it.
But to me, he's the greatest person to direct, the greatest person to know, and one of the greatest actors on the planet.
That is
because, and then he ended it, and he was like, again, the term CGI actor means nothing. An actor is an actor, and they go in and they do their work. Andy Serkis, day in and day out, does it phenomenally. And so Matt Reeves is an incredible speaker. And he talks. Like, somebody, like, the interview asked him just like how he was, like, pinned on to Dawn and War. And he went in for at least 10 minutes on how the studio contacted him and this, that, and the other. And he's just like, he's so articulate, and he makes sure everybody knows exactly what he has to say before getting cut off. And like, he just commands a room, and he commands his time. And if you're ever given the opportunity to see Matt Reeves speak, go for it. Like, I would tell anybody in the world to go please and watch him speak or watch interviews, because he's incredible. And I really wanted to go up to him and ask him, because there wasn't an open interview, like the crowd, and the place where I saw it, they have a strict policy about how people can't go up to him, because you never know if people are gonna be offering him jobs, because it was a business thing. So like, as soon as the interview is done, they get him off and they get him out. So it's just like there's no possibility for anybody to meet the post screening guests.
That makes sense.
But I really wanted to ask him if it was intentional for Caesar to have his cut on the same eye that Koba had his cut. If you didn't notice that. If you didn't notice, because
the majority of the film though with Koba was because Koba died. He killed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The whole fact of this, or the whole point of this film, was that it was all for Caesar was doing this all for revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
And Maurice said again, like as I think I pointed out, he's doing this like Koba would. He is more like Koba than he thought he was, and the fact that you pointed that out, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
That is beyond superb and beautiful. And I think this is one of those movies that does the Jesus figure and like the biblical stuff beautifully. Because not many movies can pull that off and be a good movie without being too, religious like. This movie does it amazing because they have Caesar pinned up on a wall.
Yeah.
Or like not like a cross, but
like
like
an
an
X.
X. And he's like, yeah. And everything he does is for his people. Mm-hmm. Everything.
And he's hung in the middle, right next, like, his people are watching him being mistreated.
His child, the babies, and then, the adults on the other
right
side.
In the middle.
And the only reason he is where he is, and he even got whipped for it, was because he spoke up and he stood up for his people, which were being treated like slaves. Which is, it's very, very biblical for them to also take that long journey to the lake. And
yeah, exactly.
But, okay, now that I think we got through the praise part, I have some things I want to say.
I actually just want to say one more thing about the Matt Reeves, Q&A, and Woody Harrelson, who was incredible. Woody Harrelson was amazing. But remember that whole scene where he first sees Caesar, and he's like, Napoleon, Wellington,
yes.
blah, blah, blah. And it's so powerful, ad-libbed. Matt Reeves said, like, oh, that wasn't originally in the script. And then Woody Harrelson came in that day and was like naming off all of these, because they're the last two leaders on Earth, the Colonel and Caesar. They're the last two leaders on Earth.
Not necessarily because
of the other team that comes in at the end.
What all that was about though too was. Now I'm assuming that the people from Dawn of Planet of the Apes went there because they weren't in it. They all went to the North, which was like the real big military. That was our military, the U.S. military.
Yeah.
And then there was that rogue group of people with Woody Harrelson where it was all about the Samian flu and getting rid of it by literally just building the wall. Mm-hmm. So there were definitely more people. Mm-hmm. There was no doubt in my mind there were more people there. More leaders. But in the sense of the film, they were the only two leaders.
Yeah. But okay, yeah, so Woody Harrelson was like, me and Caesar, like the only two people, like we're the last two leaders, and Matt Reeves was like, he came in that day and was like, I want to do this, and Matt Reeves was like, well, I mean, Caesar wouldn't know like who those people are, like Caesar's the monkey, and Woody Harrelson just goes, I'm just gonna say he's not much of a reader, so that whole part was ad-libbed, and just like Woody Harrelson and Matt Reeves could not say any more better things about Woody Harrelson and Andy Serkis and the whole crew, and Steve Zahn, who played Bad Ape.
God, he was Bad Ape?
Yes.
I had no idea. That was my favorite part of the film.
Yes. And he was saying like, as soon as he said that he cast Steve Zahn, because they did an audition on Skype, and he was like, Steve Zahn made me cry. He said his Bad Ape audition made me weep. Because the part that he had him read was the part where him and Caesar are talking about like family.
Oh yeah, like when he goes, I had a family once.
Yeah, and Matt Reeves just said he made me bawl like a baby.
And Bad Ape is a new character too, and I felt emotional watching it too because you can see, even though it's CGI, you can see
the emotion,
how emotional it is for these characters, and I never thought I'd be saying, I'm crying over monkeys, over apes. So yeah, all right. So we got through the praise. Yeah.
You said
is that like an exclusive though? Has anybody actually written up on that, or are we the first?
I would say that's an exclusive.
Nice exclusive. All right. So I wrote some
stuff. I wasn't allowed to record audio or anything.
Obviously, yeah.
But I have my memory, and I can report that back to you. And it was crazy. And Matt, again, I can't say anything better about Matt Reeves because he's an amazing.
Hold on. While I have the Samian flu. All right.
No, you wouldn't be able to talk.
You got that?
No. We're not done.
How long has it been?
We're at 35 minutes.
We gotta. That's like it's time.
We're not done. We haven't gotten into the cons. This movie's long, like this review. All right. Now, I wrote some things down that I remembered from the original trilogy. This movie, it doesn't do a great job of establishing what the original had already set up. Well, the original was technically like an anti-war propaganda film. This movie, it isn't that, obviously, but the original had plenty that was already set up, and this movie failed to introduce that. Like the people weren't killed off by like an avalanche or the Samian flu. There was a nuclear war, and the nuclear bomb, I think, was the thing that wiped out the people. The remaining people were underground and they were mutated, and their god was an atomic bomb, which at the very and spoilers, whatever. Again, I don't care. In the final part of the trilogy, Charlton Heston's character, because he's the main character. Because he basically gets like shot up and like traveled back to the future, and before his character dies, he sets off the bomb, which then kills off the apes also.
Oh wow!
So that's why it's like an anti-war propaganda film. It's like, oh, this is where we're gonna lead up to, but so obviously they don't all get killed by Samian flu and avalanche. Nova also didn't get her name from a car, like a grill from a car. She got her name from Charlton Heston. She didn't talk. She did talk in the Mark Wahlberg one.
Mark Wahlberg one?
The Mark Wahlberg Helena Bonham Carter one, yeah. Carter. That movie gave me nightmares watching Nova in like a little cage and such, yeah. Yeah, it was all right. But this movie does do a fantastic job of explaining the Samian flu because the people didn't speak. The humans really didn't speak. Like the flu was obviously the thing that made the humans not speak in this trilogy. They wasn't ever explained. Now it's explained. Excuse me, and it's explained beautifully throughout the whole trilogy, and I love that. And then there's one thing I just kind of wanted to add. I don't know if you know this. Do you know Cornelius is like the main good ape in the original trilogy?
Oh no! Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's a nice little thing.
I
Didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
And Nova is also in. Yeah.
So I actually have a couple things.
Can I really quickly? Just really quick, because I wasn't done with that.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Let me put. So Cornelius was also that, but I believe her name was Galen. She was like the other good ape. They traveled back in time in the original via the spaceship that Charlton Heston had, and they were given an ape to like raise because like it was a circuit. See, also with the timeline, it doesn't really add up. In this version, it's James Franco that raises Caesar. In the original, a circus man, it has Caesar and he's a baby, and he goes, to Cornelius and Galen, like, take him. They're gonna kill him if they don't. If I don't. So it's interesting to know that Caesar is raised by his child, and then Caesar raises his child. So I guess Spider-Man, X-Men, they all have some very confusing timelines.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting how they can either help the original trilogy in explaining things, or kind of just brush off the original. But
that's what I would say. I would say Cornelius is Matt Reeves didn't say this, but I would say that's probably more of just an homage to the original.
I feel it's more of an homage, definitely, than it is
because
a part of it.
There's a lot of homages to just war movies. He said Matt Reeves said like one of their huge inspirations was Apocalypse Now and
that makes sense. They said,
Bridge Over the River Kwai.
Yeah, they said like Apocalypse Now. Yeah.
So yeah, but are you finished?
Yeah.
So I just want to point out a couple things that my dad said that really just like kind of grinded my dad's gears. As much as he liked Nova, he didn't understand her character because like, and also the fact that she doesn't get food. She doesn't get water. She does get water at that one point where she goes.
I'm assuming then they also fed her because Bad Ape, which is my favorite part of the movie, I freaking loved him. He was hilarious, but he does give them food. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume she ate.
Yeah.
But at that one time she was thirsty.
Yeah. So
which
I don't know.
Which also
my dad just was like, he didn't really understand her character just being there. To me it was just like kind of just like it made her one of the pack, and it also made them more I guess, more sympathetic to the humans
Well-
to a point. And also, it explained the simian flu. Without her, the Colonel would not have gotten the spoilers. Would not have gotten the flu, and
Which was also the nicest thing ever, because before we see him in the state of
yeah,
sickness and how he can't talk, it's very interesting because his son had the simian flu and he had to shoot his son.
yeah, exactly.
And then before we see him with the flu, we see a picture of his son
Yeah,
and a bottle of liquor and blood. And then we see him with the flu, and he's the one wanting to get the gun to the head by Caesar, and when Caesar won't do it, he shoots himself.
yeah.
So, I mean, that was just no talking in that scene at all. And the music by Michael Giacchino.
Amazing.
All
Amazing. But that about wraps up what I have to say.
Yeah, no!
We're finished.
We're finishing up here. We're not done. I'm just one more thing.
I hate life so much.
I don't care.
Okay, go.
I think we're just gonna sit here for a little while.
No.
How was your day? No, but the whole thing with Nova too. It was a cliche in a sense. She was there to kind of make it more sympathetic, but in the same sense, the reason Caesar was doing what he was doing was for revenge. And there were brief moments of this film where Caesar went from the father figure to, I am going to kill him. I am going to get revenge. I am Koba. And the thing that really toned him down from that was being a father figure to Nova. Because when she was thirsty, he didn't want to give it to her. Like, at first, he was drinking it and she was staring at him.
Yeah.
She didn't know what to do or say because you could tell she was thirsty.
Yeah.
Which is also great because this actress did a great job of saying nothing but being great. And like, she was obviously thirsty and she wanted it and Caesar wouldn't give it. Mm-hmm. And then as the movie progressed, he slowly turned from the Koba to, I am the father of not only my children and my,
but to my whole species.
To my whole not only to my whole herd, my whole species. He, again, like the religious portion, he was the father. Mm-hmm. He wanted to be the one that stood up and to protect all of these people. You might as well do it for this girl.
Yeah.
So while he flinched, he then gave it to her. So it was more of a grounding moment for Caesar.
Yeah.
So Nova, in a sense, you could have looked at her and been like, oh, she's pointless. But A, she was also setting up, or the homage for the original. And B, she really did do the job of saying nothing but being the one to keep the movie together.
I agree.
All right, so...
So, arbitrary letter grade, somewhere, it's an A.
All right, A+. Tell us what you guys thought of both Spider-Man Homecoming and
War for the Planet of the
I
Apes.
give War for the Planet of the Apes a D-.
I'm going to spoil it right here, right now.
No, don't.
Hey.
Sorry,
Jesus dies.
This is a lot longer than we expected.
I am so sorry about that. I had so much to talk about.
We were very passionate about it.
Very passionate.
And we hope that Skylar is as passionate about it. But
we just hope not as passionate on this YouTube channel.
We thank you guys for watching episode 2 of Movie Court.
Guys.
And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.